Nicholas Winding Refn, NWR. Now, I have not seen all of his films. I've seen a majority of them. I think I've seen over half of his filmography. So I'm getting through his filmography slowly but surely. And today I knew as soon as I got this box set in the mail, which was months ago, that I was going to talk about this trilogy. And the trilogy that I'm talking about is the Pusher trilogy from Nicholas Winding Refn. I've already said that. And admittedly, I don't know all the actors that are in this. I know Mads Mikkelsen, which he is probably my favorite actor working today. But the reason why that this trilogy is worth talking about, hang on, just let me talk for 1 second. It's an odd trilogy. It's a different trilogy. And also, before I get into anything else, if you guys do decide you want to pick this set up from Umbrella Entertainment, I think it's still in print. It says Region B on all of these, but I had no issue playing these on my Region A Blu-ray player. And it's a nice set too. I mean, it comes with a book with the behind the scenes and the art. It's really cool. And then it comes with a bunch of little posters, which is actually really cool. Again, I've had this for months, and I guess I'm just looking stupid. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk about each one of these I can't talk today. I'm going to go through and I'm going to talk about each one individually. So the cool thing about these is each trilogy kind of follows, and in a way, this is going to sound really stupid. So let me just clarify. But in a way, this trilogy kind of reminds me of Grand Theft Auto to an extent. And the reason why is because each one of these films has a different character, but each one of these films, like for instance, the first film, the characters from 2 and 3 are in the first film, and then in the second film, the character from 3 is in the second film, and then 3 follows, one of the characters. And I do have a ranking of these, which I will get to in a second, but let me just shut up and let's talk about these. So, Pusher, the first one. Pusher 1, or just Pusher. Frank, a small-time drug dealer, is about to experience the worst week of his life. After a complicated heroin deal goes wrong, where he loses both the money and the merchandise, Frank finds himself massively in debt with the Balkan drug baron? I think it's Balkan. Yeah. Milo, you say. The squeeze is on as the pressure mounts during Frank's attempts to repay the money in the face of Milo's mounting frustration. Come Friday, Saturday may never happen. That's actually a really fucking cool tagline. And what I really like about these films is they're very raw. They're very surreal in a way, to the point to where the cinematography is almost just an afterthought in a good way, because it's kind of the richness of this is definitely a contradiction in itself, but it's like the richness of this depressing sort of world that they're living in. It just makes this film pop like no other. It almost is like the location, the production, the camera work forces these characters to pop out in a good way, because the characters are what drives these films. I mean, they really do. I mean, that's why each film is a different character, because the story itself, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all, I don't mean this in a negative light, but like, each story is kind of just bare bones. I mean, it's just your typical, let's talk about drugs and let's do this thing. And you owe me money and all that stuff. You owe me money, big dog. That's basically what all of that is about. So when it comes to the story, it doesn't do anything too crazy or original, but the characters, you just learn to really like and sympathize with these characters to the point to where you just get so engulfed in the film itself. And I like Pusher. I like each one of these films. I would probably, which I don't score things because I'm not a reviewer, but I would probably, if I were to give each one of these a score, they would all be over 4. One of them being a 5, would be probably 4, 4.5, 5. I mean, these are all really good films, and I really enjoy Nicholas Winding Refn's earlier work compared to his later work. But Pusher 1, very just simple premise. Frank is a very interesting character. Kind of reminded me, again, this is going to sound, honestly, no, it might not even sound stupid. He reminds me of like a Grand Theft Auto character. I know it sounds silly, but This is definitely the more, I guess you could say, casual of the three films. And then whenever you start getting into the other ones, they sort of touch on family and drama and more, I guess, elegant subject material, at least just for, you know, these types of films. But yeah, Pusher 2 with Mads Mikkelsen. So this is probably I don't want to say it because I'm not exactly sure, but I would almost say this might be Mads Mikkelsen's best performance yet. I'm serious. Tony, just released from prison, tries to gain respect from his father, the Duke, a notorious gangster who appears to have only contempt for his son. But Tony soon Tony soon learns nothing in his new life comes Why can't I talk? But Tony soon learns nothing in his new life comes easy. In trying to repay an old prison debt, he makes a misstep after misstep, running further afoul of the Duke. On top of it all, Tony must help raise a baby boy who might not be his. Battling the scorn of everyone around him and his own drug-fueled delirium, Tony must forge a path towards some form of redemption or perish in the attempt. That's actually a really good synopsis. In this film, I think Tony in this trilogy is probably the more likable of the three, just because you can tell that he's very conflicted at each time. And the drugs just take a tiny step back in this one. And when I say tiny, I mean literally just a tiny step back. Like, if Pusher 1, if this was the timeline and this is how much drugs, or how much drugs were in Pusher 1, it's like this, right? And then Pusher 2, it's like this, but there's a little bit of family drama in there, if that makes sense. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. And again, Mads Mikkelsen was just phenomenal in this. And let me just say that every ending of every film in this trilogy is so just not on the nose. See what I did there? And I love it so much for that. I really do. This is such a good movie. Y'all got me reminiscing on this trilogy already. And then Pusher 3, I'm the Angel of Death. Well, I should say these have subtitles. Pusher 2, With Blood on My Hands. Pusher 3, I'm the Angel of Death. We'll create a title for the first one. Let's do Pusher, Franco's People Money. Now, Pusher 3, the final installment in the Pusher trilogy, finds Milo, now middle-aged, struggling to prepare his daughter's 25th birthday and attend his rehab meetings. His business day proves equally challenging. A shipment of ecstasy has arrived in place of the heroin he was expecting. Forced to contend with a new order of young hoods to move a drug that he knows little about, Milo is trapped in the same squeeze that he has to put on so many others. Now Milo must survive one of the most harrowing days of his long, illustrious reign in order to maintain his dominance over the Copenhagen underworld. Now, I liked Milo as a character. He's such an unconventional character because most characters, when you see in a movie, it's either, you know, a younger woman, a younger beautiful woman, or a younger handsome man. It's very rare that you see just casual, normal people. And Milo, all Milo is just a middle-aged man that sells drugs, that has a 25-year-old daughter, and you're literally just watching him struggle with drugs. And that's so unconventional. And it works. There is one scene in particular in this specific movie, and this is extremely high praise for me because I'm about to compare it to my favorite film ever made, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There is a certain section in this film towards the end, and it involves two characters having to dispose of something. And there was about 10 seconds of that specific scene where the camera kind of pushes in a little bit. Well, it doesn't even push in. Like, I mean, it's all basically Steadicam, and it's just following these characters. And it goes in, and it reminded me of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, I just got this rush over me that was like, hey, yes, that reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that is extremely high praise because when I think of this film, that's the first part of the film that comes up in my mind. But how would I rank these films? What is my personal ranking? Well, I do want to do a Nicholas Winding Refn ranked video one day, but my ranking for these right now, currently, this is probably how I'm going to do it. Coming in at number 3 is Pusher 1. Still great film. Coming in at number 2 is Pusher 3. And coming in at number 1 is Pusher 2. Guys, I seriously just loved these films. I mean, these are so far some of my favorite. I mean, I guess you could honestly say like Pusher 2 right now is my favorite Nicholas Winding Refn film. They're so good, and I love Nicholas Winding Refn's earlier work, although I do really love Drive and Bronson. Neon Demon, it had its moments, and I also watched Copenhagen Cowboy, which I'm not really the biggest fan of, if I'm being honest. But these films are definitely worth the watch. And if you can support Umbrella Entertainment and get this badass set, it's so cool. Definitely do so. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of the Pusher trilogy down in the comments below. Maybe give me your own personal ranking. Also, I just want to say a few things. I'm probably going to get this up tomorrow, and I'm seeing Civil War twice, back to back. But I had my Quesadilla premiere, and I am thinking about doing a follow-up video about that premiere because it was honestly a hell of a night, and the reactions have been overwhelming. This Friday, I also have my short film, The Interview where Percival and Lewis talk about employment. I'm putting that out on YouTube. I just want to get my stuff out there, man. Like, I mean, that's all I really want to do. So I just want to thank you guys so much for your continued support. But anyway, hope you're staying safe out there, and I'll see you guys next time.